Again, everyone, I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Mike. And this is a follow-up video following up the narcissist projects power through dangerous animals. And this one's about an Akita. And there's a video clip that I'm going to play with it because it was short. I saw what it was, and I just popped in my mind. So here we go. Hi, Ollie. I have a quick update for you. I had previously written about my friend Larry, who adopted a black lab puppy named Taffy for his daughter in 2017, then dumped her at the Humane Society. This was processed by him getting an Akita puppy. Well, here's an update. He got rid of Taffy as he feared the Akita might maul her, obviously. And having visited his house yesterday, I could tell you something, Ollie. I'm never setting foot in that house again. That dog is dangerous. They all are. Akitas are not meant to be house pets. They're not. They're working dogs. They're for a specific purpose. Okay? They're not meant for that. But again, you get these people with personality disorders who want to project their power through dangerous animals, through usually pit bulls, Akitas, not so much Rottweilers can be dangerous, but they're not on that level. Okay? And then they want to give you the fucking lecture. And then they want to give you the lecture of how it's the dog, it's not the dog, it's the owner. It's how you raise them. As they're mauling your kid's face off. And you get with these people what I'm calling the glaze. That glazed over look that they give as they're spouting out their killer dog talking points. That dog is dangerous. When I visited, they had to keep the Akita on a leash and constantly remind her I was a friend. It's awesome. Sounds like an awesome thing to be around. Any sudden movements or noises from me, and the dog was acting like it wanted to come over and rip out my throat. I now have two choices: constantly make excuses to not go to their home, or have a blunt conversation with Larry and explain that I won't. It will likely be the latter, as it should. And I'd be like, Larry, you got a problem, dude. You got a dangerous dog you're trying to project power through. Okay? You have no control over it. Tying it up and telling it it's going to be okay is not the way to go. Because it's always going to be okay until that thing gets off the leash and kills somebody, or hurts somebody, and maims somebody. I can't believe the dog's always been so loving. Oh, you must have done something. You must have scared it. He's scared. It's so sad. I used to love visiting their home at Christmas. Meanwhile, Taffy still languishes at the Humane Society and is permanently on medicine for her anxiety. She growled at men and was scared of them, but would never bite. She was a small, under-socialized dog. If a lab, because labs are some of the friendliest dogs out there. If the lab is growling, and if the lab's afraid in an environment, then the environment they're in is abusive. Okay? And it doesn't surprise me that some idiot who would go out and get an Akita is probably an abusive pet owner. What Larry has essentially traded her life for is something far, far worse. That's all I have today. I hope you and Charlene are doing well. I've been over in the UK for the last few weeks, getting caught up slowly on your videos. Mike, and the thing is, Mike, these people rarely come to the conclusion like, okay, this animal is dangerous. So I'll play this clip. It's from comedian Bill Burr, and I used to like him a lot. I still like him, but he gets real woke sometimes, which is annoying. But he had one of these rescue pit bulls that his girlfriend and wife now had gotten. Okay? And let's see how all that ended.
I gotta tell you though, becoming a dad though is the greatest fucking thing that ever happened to me, man. It really is. I don't have any jokes about my kid. No, it is. And you're applauding my wife. She did all the work. Yeah, knocking a woman up, that's easy. You just have fun. Unprotected sex, bam, you knock them up, and then they have to deal with it, you know? No matter how much they try to drag you into it, it really is, it's their show, you know? I always say my wife, when my wife was pregnant, I would say my wife, you know, she's pregnant. And then I always have these people like, excuse me, you're supposed to say we're pregnant? You're supposed to say we're pregnant? It's like, well, I'm not a seahorse, so I'm not fucking pregnant. My wife is pregnant. Look at her, she's putting on weight, her feet are swelling up. You know, she's miserable, fucking miserable. I'm still doing pull-ups, I'm crushing it while being pregnant. I'm still drinking, smoking, yeah.
Funny.
No, the only thing that sucked was I had to get rid of my dog. Yeah, had to find her a new home. Well, I finally had to admit that she was fucking crazy. I got a crazy rescue dog.
Which they will never do. Which most pit owners or dangerous dog owners will never do. They will make excuse after excuse after excuse for why their dog is the way they are.
And yeah, it was one of these fucking dogs, man. It tried to kill both my parents. It tried to kill my father-in-law. It bit one of my friends. I'd have family come over, friends or whatever. We have to stick it in the back room, like lock the door. And the first hour, it would just be throwing itself up against the door. Ah, I'll fucking kill all you motherfuckers! I'll kill all you motherfuckers! Looking under the door, I can see your feet! I know what you smell like! I'll follow you home, I'll find you, I'll fucking kill all of you!
Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Meanwhile, this dog had already tried to kill both his parents, his in-laws, a couple friends, okay? And he's still making excuses for it.
And we were just in like total denial, like, no, she's just a little, you know, a little scared because she was abused. And we got
there it is. They're always abused. They're always abused. They're always abused dogs, and you're going to try to save them. Sound familiar? Sound familiar?
Like a trainer and all of that shit, and he finally just said, listen, man, this is one of these dogs nature said no to, but people said yes to.
Pitidiot. Pitidiot. Professional dog training, they don't listen. Pitidiot. They think they can outwit nature.
So I'm like, Jesus Christ, you could have told me that 10,000 fucking dollars ago, you know?
$10,000 trying to train a pit bull to not attack people. $10,000. You think the Pitidiot resolve isn't strong? Oh, it is. It is.
So now my wife, she's 5 months pregnant. She's 6 months, 7, 8 months pregnant. It's just the fucking, this thing just hanging over my head. And finally, I just said to my wife, I'm like, we got to do something about this, man. I'm not going to be this guy in the news being like, well, you know, the dog loved me and my wife, so I figured it'd be all right to let it sleep near the bassinet. And, well, you can imagine my surprise the next morning. Yeah, I wasn't going to be that guy in the news whose dog ate his baby.
So he's really only worried about being shamed on the news. Because this dog has attacked person after person after person. Somebody comes in the house, they got to lock it up. The dog is freaking out, trying to get out and kill somebody the entire time. The entire time. He just don't want to be the guy whose baby gets killed on the news. On the news. Not that his baby's dead, okay? See, this is the Pitidiot thought. Like, at least for the kid's sake. At least for the kid's sake. He had enough humility, okay, to work out in his favor, because it's really only his own narcissistic worries that he doesn't want to be the guy on the news whose baby is killed, not the guy who has to live with, hey, my fucking dog killed my baby. This is the Pitidiot mindset. At least he's smart enough to accept that the dog is fucking crazy and is going to kill somebody. He wasn't going to have any guilt over his parents, his in-laws, his friends getting hurt. Okay, but he knew if it killed his kid, he could end up on the news. And that's what he's worried about. Now, I got it. It's a comedy. It is a comedy routine. But it also, look, he's the guy who had this dog in the house for years trying to kill people. I just don't want to end up on the news.
Right? I got to get rid of this thing. So we call my trainer, and he goes, all right, I'll take it. Okay, so thank God they're not going to put the dog down or anything like that. So I'm like,
what should happen? Okay, keeping this thing around, I don't want to put it down. It's gonna hurt somebody. It's gonna hurt somebody. No, I want to make sure it's not going to get put down.
Thank God. So he goes, I'll come back in a week. And it was very sad because we both loved this dog, like with all our hearts, right? And what amazed me, though, was over that week, the way my wife handled grief versus me. It was so mature. She just, like, took it on. I just went into denial. I was just like, well, I'm not giving it away tomorrow, so I'm not going to think about it. I just called the dog up in the bed, started petting her and lashing out at people for no fucking reason, right? My wife on the other...
Sounds like the type of personality you'd want around a pit bull, right? Right? Because, you know, he's famous for this. He lashes out. He freaks out. He's like, this is the type of personality, for some reason, that's drawn to a goddamn pit bull. And he's talked about this dog in other bits, like the power he's felt walking down the street with a pit bull and everybody's getting out of his way. It's power. It's power. You're projecting your personality disorder. You're projecting power through a dangerous animal.
On the other hand, she just went right into the bathroom that night. She was brushing her teeth. I could just hear her quietly crying, like, hoo, 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 hoo.
Would she have been crying if this thing had actually killed one of her parents? Or your parents? Or one of her friends? No, it was like no tears. Like, I gotta get rid of my killer dog. This is what I'm telling you. You know, and it is the owner. It's both. It's the dog and the owner. Because without a fucked up owner, you wouldn't have a pit bull epidemic. You wouldn't have a dangerous dog epidemic going on.
I swear to God, I was on the bed and I got mad at her. I didn't yell at her, I had it just internal, you know? And I was just thinking, like, why is she having the proper emotion in this fucking moment? Why isn't she just blocking it out the fucking way I am, right? Just don't deal with it until you fucking give it away and then just start yelling at people the way I do. Right, and that's what we did. I just blocked it out, and every night she would cry a little bit more, the whole week. Till the night before, she's like, right? And what I didn't realize was she had cried herself into acceptance. And meanwhile, my emotions were still at the starting line. And then there's a knock at the door, and she goes, okay, he's here. Go get the dog. And I'm like, hey, Cleo. And she popped her head up, and I saw her wagging her fucking tail. And all of a sudden, 8 years of conditional love all started bubbling up.
8 years. 8 years of this dog trying to kill his friends and family. 8 years of excuses. This is why you don't mess with Pitidiots. This is why, yeah, he finally came to the realization, I can't have this dog around a newborn, it'll kill it. But not because I don't want to deal with the angst, okay, of watching my child get killed. I don't want to be the guy on the news. Pitidiot logic, man. Pitidiot logic.
And I was like, oh, fuck, not now! Not now! So I just pushed it down. I just walked at her like some weird game show host. Hey, how are you? I'm smiling for no reason, all right? Now we're going for a walk. I'm just gonna say what we're doing so I don't think about what I'm feeling. And I just walked out, handed the leash to the new owner, pet her on the head, didn't even look her in the eye because I knew I couldn't, and just turned around and walked away from something that I loved more than I had loved anything in my life up to that point. Don't tell my wife, right? So then I come.
That's how they are, because that's probably a truer statement than he wants you to believe. It's like, oh, it's a comedy bit. No, this is how they feel about these dogs. They'll watch their dogs maul a kid, kill somebody, kill somebody else's pet, kill somebody else's cat, and then what do? They grab the dog and run, and they hide the dog. Because it's not even love. They don't want to give up the power. The power. The Pitidiot doesn't want to give up the power that comes along with owning that fucking dog. They don't.
I'm back into the house, all right? And she's just looking at me. She knows I'm out of my fucking mind. She's like, are you okay? Is everything all right? Do you want to talk about it? We can go out, get something to eat or something. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Sometimes you have to be up here and think logical and not be in your heart. I'm just going to go into the bathroom for a second. And I went in and I closed the door and for 0.8 seconds cried like a little boy before I put the lid back on the jar, fastened it back, and just added it to the shelf of anger that sits in every man's chest. Yeah.
Is that, I mean, it's funny. It's funny, and he's honest. But that's who owns pit bulls. Angry people. Angry people. And dogs pick up on the personalities and the behaviors of their owners. So what do you think's going to happen if you get some rescue pit with somebody like him? This is what you got. A dog who tries to kill everybody he sees.
And I couldn't help but wonder in that moment, who that I love in my life is going to pay for that in the future? Like,
right, now he doesn't have his dog. Now he doesn't have his dog to project power, so somebody has to pay. Somebody has to pay.
Where am I going to be? Family reunion. Bed Bath & Beyond. How many fucking towels do we need? Jesus Christ, it's a fucking sickness with you. Where is this coming from? I just don't understand where this is coming from.
And that's the whole clip. So, Mike, I mean, you got to do the right thing. I didn't know this is it was a while ago. You emailed this to me, okay? But you got to cut it off because eventually something bad is going to go down. Something bad's going to go down with this guy. Okay, because I'm sure if you try to talk to him, you're going to get the same glaze. The eyes glaze over, and they're going to give you the pit bull fucking routine. It's not the owner. It's not the dog. It's the owner. It's all how you raise them. Chihuahuas bite more. Labs bite more. This one all this nonsense. Okay, and if you ever try, and I know some people, a couple people, okay, who actually breed pit bulls. And when I challenge them on it, like, why are you, and they constantly are breeding pit bulls. Constantly. Every couple months, here comes a new litter of fucking 7 to 12 pit bulls popping out. Okay? Like and my point to them, like there's a pit bull shortage. Like there's people sitting around, I'd really like to adopt a pit bull. I just can't find one. Like every shelter isn't loaded wall to wall with abandoned pit bulls. But no, you got these idiots who will keep unneutered, unfixed pit bulls in their house, keep breeding them, and then sell them or give them away on Craigslist. And at the same time, they'll complain about how hard it is. And they're like, so why don't you have the dog fixed? One guy, right? One guy who's crying so much, he's having a hard time, ends meet, he's got to keep the dogs keep having. Like, so have them fixed. Oh, you can't just have them fixed. You can't just go to a vet. I'm like, yeah, you can, especially a pit bull. So then this is back in like December. I'm having this conversation with this guy, and he's like, all right, I called. Okay, they can't fix this dog until March. What? And that's the plan. Like, oh, I can't get in. Try to give everybody an excuse. Oh, I can't get the dog in until March. And then lo and behold, what's going to happen before March? The dog's going to end up getting pregnant again and having another litter of pit bulls. It's the glaze. It's the glaze. It's the lecture. They're dangerous. You can't with these people. You can't. You're not going to get through to them. The only people are going to get through to themselves. Maybe. The only thing that scares them is the repercussions of owning these things. And that's it. That's the only thing. Because the Pitidiot is not willing to give up their power. They're not willing to give up the power that dog brings. So I hope you do the right thing, Mike. But thank you again for another contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care.